I just noticed we have some peonies popping up out of the ground back there and some daffodils. Hello everyone, welcome back to the channel. So if you are new here, my name is Candace and I do a lot of vegetable gardening and flower gardening, and I'm going into my second year starting a flower farm. This is my perennial bed. I've got mainly peonies, a few iris, and a few bulbs. But I just saw that we have some peonies poking their little heads up. So I just thought that I would give you a quick tour. I just love seeing other people's before and afters. So I thought, I'll go ahead and show you guys the before. I'll show you guys the after. And then, maybe later in the season, I will put it all in one video. So I need to get some sandbags. I've got some coming, and I need to get some sand to fill them up, to weigh this plastic down at the bottom to keep the air from going up inside. And then I need to get longer pieces of rebar to go up in the PVC pipes and down into the ground. They were fine at first, but as soon as we get a heavy wind, then it shakes it so much to where the PVC pipes will completely come up off of the rebar, because the rebar is only some of them are 12 inches, some of them are 18 inches, and so I need to get something a lot taller for it to not be able to come up so much and completely come off, because then it pushes out and then it pops a bunch of the clips off, and then we have to keep continuing to come out here and fix it. But before this train gets too close, I want to show you we have some peonies beginning to sprout. We've got daffodils. Those I planted not last fall, but the fall before, and I was afraid they had all rotted, but it looks like we have some coming back. Excuse me. But I have, I think 14 peonies in this bed now. No, I had 14 and I added 4 last year to this bed, so I have 18 now. Super excited about the peonies. I'm hoping the ones I planted 2 falls ago will at least give me a few blooms. Those were a mix of pinks and purples, so I'm not sure, what they're going to look like until I get some blooms. But you can see here I've got 3 fruit trees that I transplanted this fall, and we have some tulips popping up, so that's super exciting. They didn't all get eaten. I don't know if it was voles or gophers or what it was, but I started getting tunnels all throughout the property this fall. I've never had that issue until this year. So they found the bulbs, and I'm sure they ate a good portion of them, but at least there's still a few. We've got one there, 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 there. So it doesn't look like they got any of them from around this fruit tree. And I think we even have a couple daffodils popping up. super, super exciting that they didn't eat them all. Got a couple shoots there and there and there. We've got a daffodil there. If you don't know, tulips usually come up with a red tinge, and then daffodils are usually just pure green. I cannot wait to seed start my tomatoes for the season. I've decided to plant them again here, and then next year I will probably plant them somewhere else, just to, you know, not plant the same thing too many years in a row in the same spot. I left everything in the bed though throughout the winter, so now that it's a little bit warm today, I'm trying to get that bed cleared out. And then here is what the cut flower farm area is looking like. I decided to put the little greenhouse, hoop house in the center of the 4 beds. I had planned to make this greenhouse where I will harden off my seedlings in the spring, but the more I got thinking about it and thinking about how that will leave it basically useless the entire rest of the season, and it's going to take away space for where I usually would have a couple arbors for things like sweet peas. Now I'm wondering if maybe I should cover it with cattle panels and not put plastic on it, and use it to grow things like sweet peas and some climbing roses. So let me know in the comments what you guys think I should do, or if there is possibly a way I could still do both of those things. And then I've got the landscape fabric down. I've began to build a couple caterpillar tunnels for snapdragons and things. The grassy patch that you see there, it was where the cut flower patch was going to be, but if you don't know, I have issues with it flooding right there, so I just kind of moved it this way. Still trying to decide what I want to do with that patch. I keep going back and forth in between planting melons and squash, doing the little wildflower patch right there. I'm thinking that I'm gonna have my husband till it up, add a bunch of fill dirt in and compost, and try to get it to where it doesn't flood, and use that for my successions of sunflowers. Last year I just had one bed up against the garage of sunflowers, and if I would have not planted them so close together, I probably would have had sunflowers for most of the season. But I planted them like every few days instead of like every week to 10 days. And so I quickly ran out of sunflowers because once the bed was full, I didn't have anywhere else to plant them. So if you guys have any ideas, I would love to hear them. Should I do the wildflower patch? Should I do maybe half of it sunflowers, like, you know, do a couple rows in the back of sunflowers, and then just do like a 6-foot wide section for squash and pumpkins? I would love to have this area for several large successions of sunflowers, but at the same time I know that I don't need that many sunflowers. And I'm not going to be able to, you know, sell that many, so I don't want to sow them and then them go in the compost after, you know, doing all the work of sowing them and harvesting them. I still have to put one more row of landscape fabric. That we left blank because I wasn't sure if the lemon mint, it was either lemon mint or lemon balm, I wasn't sure if that was going to overwinter. And then I have perennial yarrow right there. which for the most part still looks pretty green. There's of course some dieback, but I think they look pretty good. They'll need to be weeded, but looks like they live to me, so that's nice. That is just the wires that I used for the caterpillar tunnels, and then that's the soaker hoses that used to be in that bed. Now, this is a bit of an eyesore. I know my husband works with scrap metal on the side, but oh, it looks like one of my containers has blown in the street. I gotta go get that. I'm telling you, we've had some crazy winds. But this is where I planted a lot of bulbs. I did, you know, like an L shape, and then I left a little bit of space, and then I did another L shape. So this is also going to be hopefully a gorgeous, beautiful show of spring bulbs. I wanted to take a moment just to point something out really quickly. I don't know if you can tell in this video, but after filming this video, I realized the patches where I have the bulbs in these two corners in this triangle shape, the grass on my property goes pretty dormant. It's a mix of, I think, several different grasses and a lot of weeds also. But most of them go dormant and turn brown during the winters. I wanted to point out just how green these patches are and how much taller the grass is. I would say the grass is at least another 3 or 4 inches in the areas where I planted these bulbs, and I really think that that's all due to the biotone fertilizer that I put in the holes when I planted these bulbs. So I just wanted to point that out. Biotone is something that I've always wanted to try since seeing Laura from Garden Answer use it, and you know how successful she is with her gardens, but it's so expensive. But I went ahead and I invested in a large, like $60 bag, and I've already bought several bags since then because I did notice such an incredible difference in a lot of my flowers last year. But it's just seeing it right here on the grass is just like, you know, plain as day, you know, like proof. And I just thought it was amazing how much greener, especially this time of the year when, you know, everything is, you know, brown and dead looking, and that grass right there is just green and thriving. And then here is a more wide angle view of the back of our property. Our property line only goes to about right here. We are hopefully going to be getting a fence put up this summer to go around the back of our property. This mess will not be here much longer. It should have been taken care of before winter, but it got really cold really quick on us, and my husband didn't have the time, and the weather really didn't permit him to get it all cleaned up. I know you've probably heard me saying something about one of my neighbors being, you know, their house being a bit of an eyesore, and I know that is definitely an eyesore for my neighbor, and that will be getting cleaned up super quickly now that it is warmed up. Anyways, so you know, we'll have all the bulbs there, the cut flower farm there, perennial beds, and then our vegetable raised beds, and we're hoping to add at least 4 more this summer. I'd eventually like to, you know, have about 12 of them to have plenty of room for the things that we eat the most, like beans, corn, potatoes, carrots, things like that. But there it is, guys. Ignore the toys and things, but this is the last bed we have that still has some of the landscape rocks in it. I've been slowly but surely trying to get more of it emptied on my own, but I'm gonna have to have my husband help me because it's just too difficult with, you know, with me being in the wreck, being rear-ended. It's just too much on my back. But I have a few roses, burning bush, some iris, and a few bulbs planted in there. I've got some blueberries in there. That was eucalyptus that isn't hardy in my zone, so it died. And then I have a rose down there. Here are some containers with tons and tons of bulbs that will be going on some of my porches. The two creamy colored ones will be at the end of my driveway. These three I've been keeping in my garage until it got a little warmer because I wanted to see if I could overwinter these mums. They lived last year. Most of them lived last year in another container that I had some planted in without any protection, but I wanted to see if I could protect these and then definitely come back. And also I wanted to try to save these baby blue eucalyptus, but I ended up not bringing them in one night when it got cold, so I don't know if those are going to live. I'm hoping if I cut them back a little bit, their roots are still alive, but anyways. And then this is a lemon scented gum eucalyptus. It smells so amazing. And then if we come over here, ignore the trash and balloons, but we've got a ton of bulbs packed into these two little areas on the side of my porch. We just had a lot of rain, so a lot of this, and wind, so a lot of this, it looks like we're trashy, but I promise that is stuff that blew out of my trash. Nothing much to see on the porch, just a lot of strawberries, couple roses, and some of the extra lavender that I had just in case some of the lavender didn't make it in the lavender hedge I planted. But I'm thinking with them being in such little pots that they didn't make it. And then this is the bed that looked so gorgeous this summer. And it looks really bad right now, but that's typical, it's winter. It looks like some of my iris may be rotting. That one's like fallen over, and it looks like maybe the roots have like just broken. This bed got a little bit flooded when we first got all of the rain and things, so it also looks like a lot of my mulch has washed away because that is sticking about 3 inches out of the ground, and I did not plant it that way. That's sticking about 3 inches out of the ground also. You can see where a lot of the dirt has washed away, and what used to be under the ground is now exposed. So I need to get some compost or something and cover that up. But this is going to be absolutely gorgeous in the spring, I hope anyways. I have about 100 tulips and daffodils in this bed, and then I also have about 30 alliums in between all of the roses and hydrangeas and iris and astilbe, peonies. The peonies won't bloom now. It'll be a couple years for those, but although this looks very bad right now, it is going to be gorgeous in just a few months. If you missed it, I posted a what's been going on video a couple weeks ago, and you should check that one out if you'd like to hear more about what else is in this bed and how I designed it. And then here is the last bed. The lavender isn't looking the greatest over here either, but we have a very large row of tulips in the back, daffodils in the center, and then hopefully I will have ranunculus to go in front of that. I cannot wait to see this bed in the spring. It's going to be a little difficult to hear me because we do live on a highway. It's not a super busy highway, but it is a highway, so the cars are going to be loud. But here is what our front yard looks like, and I'd eventually like to plant all around the perimeter of our front yard, going all the way down to where you see my dog there, in, you know, some smaller trees, shrubs, and, you know, other perennials. I got a bunch on clearance, and I got a few of them planted before it got too cold, but the others are in my garage. So I would like to, you know, continue this all the way around the perimeter of my property. So like a 10-foot wide, like a 10-foot wide space going all the way around. Not a straight line, of course, but, you know, something that looks a little more natural, but going all the way around the perimeter to be kind of like a natural fence, and then a real fence around the back. I don't know, you know, I don't know if that's going to even happen before we move, because like I said, this isn't going to be our forever home like I once thought it was going to be, but while I'm here, I'm going to live here like it is my forever home, because I rented for many years, and, you know, there was a lot of things I didn't do because I was renting that I regret, you know, not doing and getting the practice. So if anything, this is going to be practice for my forever home. Something else I talked about in my live I did last week is that I plan to do a large area of this front yard in wildflowers. That way people will hopefully see them and then look over and see that I sell cut flowers, because I do plan to start setting something up back by our barn on the weekends to do like little bouquet bar like workshops where you can either build your own bouquet or basically like order, you know, tell me what flowers you want and I put them together for you type of thing. So I would like to draw, you know, a little bit of attention this way, because we do get, you know, so much traffic. I think that will be very beneficial. Alright guys, well that's it for the video. Thank you so much for watching. Hopefully you enjoyed. Again, I know there's not too much to see, but I think it will be beneficial to see the before, and then I think it will be awesome to see the before and then the after. But that's going to be it for this one. Thanks again, and I will talk to you guys in the next one.